Hey guys, today I am going to tell you about my horror story of buying an instrument. It's so important for you to trust whoever it is that you are buying an instrument from. One, you want to make sure that you're not ripped off. You don't want them to be charging you more for this instrument than they should be. Two, you want to make sure that they're not trying to sell you something that you don't need or something that is not a good fit for you. And it's just nice to have a dialogue with the person that you could really trust and play for them and have their honest feedback. I think that's really, really important. Of course, along with playing for your teachers and colleagues, I think that's also really important. If you want to know all about setting up a flute trial and how to pick an instrument, I have videos, so check those out. But yeah, today is about my horror story. It was honestly such an awful experience, and I basically wanted to share this with you guys today, not because I'm venting. I've never really talked about this publicly, but the reason that I wanted to do this video was because I don't want anybody to go through the same experience, or if they do go through the same experience, I want everybody to know basically like what is okay, what is not okay, and what you should possibly do in this situation. So, just a disclaimer before I get into this, I am not talking about any of the companies that I've worked with recently. I am so happy with all of them. Obviously, this is not a company in Los Angeles. This is also not the Flute Center of New York. I have no problems at all with Flute Center. I love them so much, and I actually just bought my most recent Piccolo from them because I really enjoyed working with them. So just want to put that out there so you're not thinking like, oh, she just bought an instrument. Oh, it must be about that. It has nothing to do with this. This is like literally like 10, 12 years ago or something like that. So just want to put that disclaimer out there. So I was looking for a new Piccolo. My mom and I went to the National Flute Association convention, and that year, where was it? I think it was in Kansas City. It was right after my freshman year of college, and it was that summer, and I needed a new Piccolo. I had a student Piccolo before this. It was a resin Piccolo. I needed to upgrade to a wooden Piccolo, and of course, NFA is a really good place to try basically everything to find the instrument that you're looking for. It also was really awesome because my former teacher, Laurel Ann Maurer, was there, and she was able to listen to some of the piccolos that I was trying to help guide me as to what I sounded best on. So that was invaluable for her to help me with that. Anyway, so this is a company that I had purchased another, 2 instruments from prior to this, and I thought we had a good relationship, and I thought I trusted them, and things went a little sideways. So I went around to a bunch of different places, tried a bunch of different brands of piccolos, and ultimately ended up finding one that I ended up really liking, and I wanted to get that one. And this particular company was selling that Piccolo. So there are 2 different places, there's 2 different ways, I guess you could say, that you could get an instrument. You could go directly, sometimes you can go directly to the actual brand. So as in Trevor James or Miyazawa or Burkhart, something like that. You could go directly to them and purchase it from them. And then there are flute dealers, and flute dealers basically will have a huge range of instruments, just like the Flute Center of New York, and they just have a bunch of different instruments. They'll have basically every single brand, well, depending on how big the company is, of course, but they'll have a bunch of different brands, and they'll have flutes and piccolos, altos, basses, everything like that. So this place that I was going to was a flute dealer. They were not a flute brand, they were a flute dealer. So I ended up choosing a Burkhart Phelan, and I really, really liked that Piccolo, and I went to them and they said, yeah, we have one here, try it out. And I tried it out, and I really liked the Piccolo. So on the last day of the convention, I purchased the Piccolo. My mom helped me. Very, very grateful for her for that. But I purchased the Piccolo, and I took it home with me and brought it back with me to Los Angeles to start my sophomore year at Colburn. So then about, maybe a month or 2 went by, maybe 3 months, I don't remember. It was the fall though, several months had gone by. This was not like a follow-up from this company that was a week later or something. It was like months later. I'm not gonna say the name of it because that's not really who I am. I'm not like in this to like bash people. I again just want to share this story with you to make sure that you guys are not taken advantage of in the future. So what happened was that one day I received an email from the company and they said, hey, we charged you the wrong amount for your Piccolo. And I got the email. I was like, you charged me the wrong amount? Like, there was a price tag on the Piccolo when I bought it. And we said, oh, is this the Piccolo? Yes. This is the price? Yes. And we bought the Piccolo. I'm like, okay. And they were saying that they didn't include, I think it was what was it? I think it was a high E mechanism. And that was like an additional like add-on to that Piccolo, and it didn't come standard with that. And so then it was more money than what we had purchased it for. And it was not like a significant amount of money. I think it was maybe like $300 or $350 or something along those lines. But it was just kind of odd. Like, why are you coming to me now about that? Like, you should have figured that out at the convention. And so I wrote them back and I just was like, well, you know, this is the amount that we agreed upon. And I might have gone with a different Piccolo. I might have gone with a different dealer. Had I known that this was the actual price, this is the price we agreed upon. And they wrote me back an email, which was kind of nasty. And I talked to a lot of people and I explained the situation and they're like, well, that makes no sense. You couldn't like buy a car and then have Honda come to you a couple months later. I am so sorry, you know, you have a sunroof and that doesn't come standard, and so we're gonna charge you the extra amount for that sunroof. No, that's not how it works. You agree upon a price, you pay that price, and that is the end. I mean, you know, like I feel bad, you know, like that they made that mistake, but that was not my mistake. We agreed upon a price, I paid the price. Not my problem, to be honest. And so things got worse, quite a bit worse. So I ended up receiving a call from the owner of this flute dealer, the owner. And mind you, all the interactions that I've had at that point with this dealer and with that company had been with my mom because I was still young. I was 19 years old. I didn't have a lot of experience with this. She was there with me when I was purchasing the instrument, and they knew that, but they called me. They didn't call my mom, they called me. So this person threatened me, like legit threatened me. I could not believe it. This is literally what they told me. They said to me, if you come to our city and something happens to your instrument, let's say you have a concert or something happens to your instrument, man, that would be really tough if, you know, you just didn't have somebody to fix your instrument. So basically this person was saying, you come to our city, something happens to your instrument, we're not gonna fix your instrument. And I was just like, are you kidding me? And they were like accusing me of all these things, that I was ripping them off, that I was a bad person, that word was gonna get around that I did this, and it was pretty awful, honestly. And again, I was 19 years old. I didn't know what to do. Luckily, I was able to talk to some people that I really trusted, some colleagues as well as teachers, and they were like, this is bogus. Like, I cannot believe that this person is doing this. They're clearly trying to just take advantage of you because you're young. They made the mistake. You did not make a mistake. You paid in full for this instrument. This is not your problem. So yeah, just don't worry about it. But honestly, like I kept receiving different like correspondence from this company, and I just at some point just had to ignore them. But it was awful. Like, it was an awful experience to go through. And I really hope that this is not something that you guys ever have to go through. When you go to a company, again, you want to choose somebody that you really, really, really trust to purchase an instrument, so you don't have anything like this happen to you. Again, I thought I knew them. I had purchased multiple instruments through them in the past. Everything had gone completely smooth, and that was not my case this time. So make sure to get a second opinion if something like this hopefully never happens to you, but if it does, get a second opinion. and go to somebody that you trust. Go to somebody that is going to give you the best advice, to give you the best instruments that are best for you, right? That's the most important thing, is you need to find something that is best for you. You don't need them to be trying to sell you something that you can't afford, or try to sell you something that you don't need. Like if you're a beginner and then like this company's like, oh, you should get a professional flute. You don't need a professional flute right then. Like, I guess if you decided you wanted a professional flute, fine, I guess you could get it, but you don't need that, you know what I mean? So you just need to really choose the place that you go to very wisely. And I don't want anything like this to ever happen to you guys. If you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments below. I just really hope nothing like this happens to you guys, because it was just so stressful for me at that time, and I was in school, and it was just a really bad experience. Anyway, make sure that you guys subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a bunch of other videos just like this one coming very soon. If you have ideas for topics that you would like me to cover for you, leave those in the comments below as well, and I will talk to you soon.